Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice as we talk about everything that has happened for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. So this is maybe the final Power Week episode I'm doing here. So I was supposed to have done a recap episode yesterday after the Fanstream, but I'm here at Power MorpherCon 2022. So I'm here at my hotel room, and yesterday was absolutely crazy. So much fun. But I was also up for over 25 hours straight, so I just didn't get around to doing a recap episode. But I did get around to doing a reaction to the Fanstream from a outside Starbucks, little like patio everything. So that was really fun. We had Vaughn on, we had my buddies Will and VZ17, who I was hanging out with the entire day yesterday, to pull that off, which was great. So today we're going to go over the Power Week Day 4 reveals, and we're going to kind of recap the stream, give my thoughts on it, and kind of, give you the Cliff Note versions of what happened during the stream. And then this morning, there was also reveals for Power Week stuff, which, this is all weird, because it's 10:31 a.m. California time. I'm used to it being 1:30 p.m., like Eastern time, because that's my time zone. So let's just go ahead and get right on into it. So kicking it off with the Fanstream, this was our very first Hasbro Pulse branded Fanstream for Power Rangers, because they have retired the Fan First name. So it was definitely an improvement from the final Fan First event which we had, which was obviously the infamous Pinata incident on April 13th. Done. We didn't have that today. We still had Pam and Jordan host it, and I think they did a very good job going in depth about all the different reveals, actually like zooming in on the figures to talk about them for extended periods of time. It was 50 minutes long. Much better than 13 minutes long. Obviously, definitely an increase and, definitely better there. Out of the 50 minutes that the stream was, the reveals took like 20-something-ish minutes of it. Technically like 31 minutes if you count them talking about the Street Fighter figures, which we already had revealed earlier this week. But basically, I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into the reveals because this is day-old news. I'm sure you don't even need me telling you about it because I'm sure you've seen it from a ton of other YouTubers and on Twitter and everything like that. But I have some thoughts on them, so I'm going to go over them anyway. So first up, they had Wave 12 on the table. They started it out right with Wave 12, had 3/4 of it sitting on the table, and I'm like, okay, you better show some Max or I'm going to lose my mind, and they did. They showed Max. So they showed Max, and they even did reference the fact that they already revealed Max back in May, thanks to the hashtag I Love Power Rangers tweet, and they also shouted out Adam, who was kind of one of the main orchestrators behind that hashtag, and I met him at MorpherCon very briefly yesterday, so very cool. But basically from there, they did talk about how Max is going to be officially going up for pre-order today, so August 26th here. You can now officially pre-order the entirety of Wave 12, which is still listed for a March 2023 release, but it's definitely going to be out a lot earlier than that. And finally, that closes the book on Wave 12. After 4 months nearly of taking it to reveal, I mean, it took forever, and kind of to send it off, and honestly, I thought this was really cool. I would love for them to do this more. They showed off this digital render. It's actually not toy photography. I thought it was at first because of how good it looks, but it's this awesome battle diorama of both Wave 11 and 12, like, at it. So you have all the Rangers from Wave 11 and 12 fighting a bunch of Zeo Cogs, because that was the only villain that was featured in Waves 11 and 12. I absolutely adore this. And also, what's really funny to me, pointed out to me on Twitter and everything, is that if you zoom in and you look at Lunar Wolf, they have his arm angled so where you can't see how many stripes are on the figure, and they have a Zeo Cog like arm or chest in the way of his boots, so you can't see what color they are. So in this picture, Lunar Wolf looks pretty good, but that's because they blocked everything that is definitely wrong about it. So I thought that was just really funny that they went through the effort to do that. And we noticed. We definitely noticed. But yeah, seriously, if they could release this image with like out the Lightning Collection Power Week like watermarks and stuff on it, that would be absolutely incredible because I love how this turned out, and I want to see more of this Hasbro. And then it was time to move on to Wave 13 reveals after they shouted out Ranger Liz for the Power Month hashtags. And they had already talked about this figure or name dropped it on Monday and said that we would see it at the stream yesterday. And we did. The official figure, the official render, I suppose, of Dino Charge Blue from Wave 13. And I'm very happy with how this figure turned out here. So you can see it's definitely a pretty light blue. Some people were thinking it's maybe a too light of a blue for the color that suit should be. But they did also show the coat head in a little bit better detail, which I think looks pretty good. It looks like Yoshi Sudarso, and he actually even commented on it on Twitter, which I think is always fun when the actors like comment on their Lightning Collection head sculpts or figures or whatever it may be. They did exactly what I thought they were going to do, so Shelby in Wave 11 came with the drill that she should only have in Dino Steel mode, and she still doesn't have the accurate arm for that, and none of the other Dino Charge Rangers have had the Dino Steel weapons, but they've all had the Dino Saber and Dino Charge Morpher. except for Shelby, who didn't have the saber because she got the drill instead, and I knew that they were going to go straight back to the original format for Kota here, and they absolutely did. So he has the saber, he has the Morpher, which is fine. I'm totally good with that. I wish Shelby had the saber, so just everybody had it, but honestly, I prefer them all to have their Morphers more than their sabers, because they kind of use or some of them use the blasters more in anyway. So I'm totally good with that. Now, Kota is also pinless, if this render is to be believed, because it's not like an actual physical prototype or a press shot of it or anything, but usually the renders, well, sometimes they're not on the boxes. We'll get to that later. But, you know, I do believe that he should be pinless because they're definitely moving towards that being the standard for not even just Lightning Collection, but just most Hasbro brands. Kind of like the plastic free. It's like everything's plastic free, everything is pinless. That's kind of their big like innovations that they're moving towards right now. So Dino Charge Blue, we already had him announced on Monday technically, so I'm not recounting him as a figure number. He's figure number 125 before the Street Fighter figures. But our first brand new figure reveal came in the form of another Wave 13 member, Beast Morpher's Yellow, a figure that has been highly sought after, definitely a figure that we should have had a long time ago to complete the main trio of Beast Morphers. We still don't have Steel. I don't even know if Hasbro has remembered that they haven't done Steel yet to actually fully complete the Beast Morphers team, but Zoe looks really good here. She also looks to be pinless as well, which is fantastic. It looks like she will have the double jointed elbows and everything as well, which is really good. The Zoe head, they didn't show as much of that as they did the Kota head, but I think it also looks pretty good just from the brief amount of it that we can see here. She's also going to come with the Beast X Saber that we had back with Red and Blue back in like 2019, so it's definitely been quite a long time since we've had that, because this will be a year 5 figure, and we haven't had those since year 1, so that's pretty crazy to think about. But we also get to see this effect piece that she has, which is also the one from SPD Shadow, which I know we've had it with one of the metallics, I believe, but we do not get that effect piece quite often, so really cool to see it here. So this is half of Wave 13. They did not fully reveal the entire wave yet, which is just really funny when you think about it, because it took them forever to do Wave 12, 4 months basically, and now we have half of Wave 13 already done. So the other half, which I've told you guys many times here on Lightning Storm, should be Dino Fury Green and the Wild Force Putrid, the foot soldiers from that season. And I imagine at this point, because they said that they will not have pre-orders live for Kota or Zoe until later on this year, my best guess is that we will see the back half of Wave 13, and pre-orders will launch a month from now at Hasbro PulseCon, which is literally like a month from like next week. It's like September 30th and October 1st. So we don't know which day is Power Rangers Day for that yet, but we do know, or we're pretty confident, that Power Rangers will have a presence there, and that's probably when we will finish up Wave 13. With that, it was time to move on to the next wave of deluxe figures. So lots of interesting things happen with this. So basically Amazon Italy and Amazon UK spilled the beans with these and put up the promo pictures of them very early yesterday morning, so like around 12:30 Eastern time-ish, midnight-ish yesterday morning. So I woke up early for my flight. I saw them and I posted them on Lightning Fig PR, so we got all the pictures of them before the reveal, so we knew that these were going to be happening yesterday. But this is a very interesting wave. It's also exactly what I had heard it was going to be, so I had talked about this in my kind of predictions for Power Week last Saturday in the last like formal episode of Lightning Storm, and I talked about how Time Force Green was being swapped out from Deluxe Wave 3 for another Time Force color. Now in that video I was wearing a blue shirt, which was a clue. So that was a clue that it was going to be Lucas instead of Trip. I just didn't say that in my video because I wasn't 100% confident in it, but obviously now I am. And I'd said that the codenames of Chrono and Charmer were the figures that was going to be the next wave of deluxes based on the Amazon listings. And I'd said that Charmer was a clue for the monster, which I had heard would be Snizzard, and Snake Charmer, all that kind of stuff, Snakes, Snizzard. So that also ended up panning out. Now, real quick before we get to the actual details of it, so the wave that was supposed to be Snizzard and Time Force Green, which then became Time Force Blue, was always supposed to be Deluxe Wave 3, which we never had Deluxe Wave 2 revealed yet, which should be Wild Force Red and also another Mighty Morphin monster. But those listings have not popped up again like in a very long time. Their code names have also not popped up in a very long time. And so I don't know what's happening with that wave. Now, for all intents and purposes, this new Deluxe Wave has to be Deluxe Wave 2 because it is the second wave of deluxes that they have revealed after TJ with the glider and Piranha's head. But even places like Entertainment Earth still have this listed as Deluxe Wave 3, showing that at one point in time this was supposed to be the plan. But going forward, I'm going to refer to these two as Deluxe Wave 2, and I'm going to save the Mighty Morphin Monster and Wild Force Red that should have been Wave 2 as the new Wave 3, if that makes any sense. But getting into the figures themselves here, figure number 129 is Mighty Morphin Snizzard, which is from the episode where like Kimberly had to fly the plane or something like that. It was a very early season 1 episode, but he's mainly iconic of a Mighty Morphin monster because of the fact that he was voiced by Bryan Cranston. Yes, the Bryan Cranston actually voiced this character on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers back in the day. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool to get this as a Lightning Collection figure. And they did a really good job with this. For a monster that's just made of a bunch of snakes, essentially, I think looks really, really good. They also have this really awesome feature where his mouth can like accordion out and there's like snakes inside of it. He has the snakes for hands, he has some weapons and like his bow and arrow and everything. Oh, it looks incredible. And to top it off, he has an actual wire in his tail. It's like a rubber tail, so you can actually like pose it, which is something that like some of these figures definitely should have had, or I guess like Piranha's head would have been like the only one that would have really had it, but Piranha's head kind of had like a movable tail. It was kind of like on a sort of a ball joint that could kind of move around, but this is really cool. An actual like wire in a Lightning Collection figure, so you're gonna have that rubbery material, but that works super, super nicely for this, and I'm really happy that they went the extra mile to do that. I don't really have much else to say about Snizzard. He looks fantastic, and he's part of this wave. You also have the plastic-free packaging for him, so no more Tom Whalen artwork or anything like that, which, of course, we've talked about numerous times. And then moving on to Lucas, we have our second Time Force Ranger, finally. Over 100 figure reveals since we got Wes. So just let that sink in for a little bit. It's been over 2 years since we had Wes. I think the head sculpt's pretty good. I do like the head sculpt quite a bit. I think it does look like the actual actor who played Lucas. You also can notice that this figure is also pinless, which is very good. I think the butterfly joint thing still hurts the Time Force figures because you have this really tiny version of his chest symbol because they just didn't, I guess, want to paint it onto the butterfly joints, you know, which they've painted butterfly joints before on like some of the Zeo figures, so they don't really seem to be opposed against doing that, but I don't know, it makes it just look a little strange. But accessories-wise, he's going to come with the same things essentially as Wes did, which means his swords are a little inaccurate. They should have like a different molded symbol to be more of his general symbol. But they seem to be confused on that in general because the actual box for him, the brand new artwork for this figure on the side, shows the correct helmet, but shows the wrong symbol on the chest, which is very odd. And then the actual render sitting on the bike also has the wrong chest. At least all the pictures of all the figure itself, the actual like physical prototypes shown off on the stream and all the different press photos actually have it correct, thank God. So hopefully it's just the box that's all strange, but he does come with a vector cycle. So this is our vehicle to be in the second deluxe wave. It looks really good. So they talked about how this is the first two-wheeled bike that they've done in the Lightning Collection, or two-wheeled vehicle, which is a good point that I hadn't really thought about because the unicycle with SPD Omega was just one wheel, and then the Galaxy Glider didn't have any wheels, and this is only our third vehicle. So they have rubber tires on the wheels, which look fantastic. You have removable Gatling guns, which also look really good. You have like a nice semi-translucent kind of grayish plastic like dome for like the hood part of it, which looks really cool. What's really neat too about the like functionality of it is that it also has a kickstand. I should mention that. But if you turn the handles, it does turn the front wheel on the bike, so very good little detail there. And I'm honestly very, very impressed by the vector cycle and kind of disappointed that we seemingly only have it for Lucas so far, which is kind of the biggest disappointment for the deluxe waves, is that if they keep doing vehicles like this or the Galaxy Glider that the whole team should have, then it's like, well, we've already released the rest of the team, so how are we going to get those vehicles without having to double dip? And I don't want to double dip. I think the deluxe waves are better suited for like vehicles that are exclusive to a certain ranger, or like, you know, only appear in like a power-up form, or I don't even know what I'm talking about, but like things that wouldn't be a whole team like grouping of cycles, if that makes sense. Because now, you know, we don't have the rest of the Vectors, we don't have the rest of those Galaxy Gliders, so I don't know. It still looks very good though. And if you want to go ahead and pre-order the new wave of Deluxes, it is up for pre-order as of yesterday. On all major retailers, these are just general releases for $33.99, so the same prices as I think the new deluxe figures were that same price the last wave, and also the Street Fighter figures are that price. It's just the new standard deluxe price, and this will be out on February 1st, 2023, or maybe earlier or something like that. You know how Lightning Collection likes to work, but you can pre-order them right now. The next item revealed during the stream is a brand new GameStop exclusive roleplay item. So just as they did last year with the pink Ranger Morpher, we are now getting the yellow Ranger Morpher, and even before I show you a picture of it, it's exactly what you think it's going to be. So it is the same thing as they did last year. You have the pink, or well, instead of pink, you have the yellow stand. You have the yellow Morpher with like the yellow lightning bolts and everything, and the Power Rangers name kind of barely being able to be seen or whatever. You get the Yellow Ranger cardboard pogs, so yeah, we definitely got little cardboard pictures back again, which, I mean, at least if we're gonna keep doing these Ranger colored Morphers, at least that you have some sort of continuity between them, or, you know, something going on. You do get all 5 power coins though, and you'll get special phrases and everything. They really didn't focus on the Morpher too long, and I'm not either, because I don't really care for this whatsoever. They did specifically mention though that these are inspired by the movie, which is something they kind of tried not to say too much when they revealed the Pink Ranger Morpher last year. It was kind of just implied by the product description. And of course, if you know the designs of the movie Morphers, you would know that these do look like the movie Morphers quite a bit. And because of that, they did specifically mention that it is, since it is movie inspired, that the voice phrases or the sound-alike that's inside of the Morpher is supposed to be Aisha, since that would be more accurate to the movie and not Trini. So just keep that in mind with this. That, you know, that's kind of what they're going for with this, and you're not going to have both of them in there, and they didn't choose Trini over Aisha. This is why they did that. Now, if you want to get this Morpher, it is a GameStop exclusive, but it is also available on Hasbro Pulse for $55.99, and surprisingly, this has a release date, I believe, on both websites of October 1st this year. So like 5 or 6 weeks from now, which, like, okay. So I did not think that this would be so close, but sure, I'm not going to spend $55.99 on it because the Pink Ranger Morpher is rotting away in clearance, so I'll give it time. I'll wait, because you can get that Pink Ranger one for like 30 something now, or even probably cheaper than that. But I don't know. I mean, if they eventually do a whole set of these, sure, but like I want them to move on and do like Tommy's Morpher or a Master Morpher or literally anything else but this. So it's fine. If you like it, it's a cool novelty piece and everything like that. I do like the yellow color of the Morpher, and the plastic-free packaging box for it does look pretty nice as well. But I don't really have much else to say about it. You can get it now if you want it. Now, while that was the end of product reveals for the stream yesterday for the most part, the next like segments of these, there was like 2 other segments after the product reveals, and one of them featured Jared and Loretta talking about these Street Fighter figures that they revealed earlier this week. Now, all they did, and they spent like 15-ish minutes, 10-ish minutes, 10-15 minutes, like going over the whole like design process of these and like working with Capcom and showing off a lot of really cool photography that we didn't get to see during the official reveals. But I'm going to kind of leave you to watch the stream and hear about all of that in detail, because I'm here to kind of just get through the news here, because it is like a day old. But there were some very important like tidbits that we learned about these that I think is very important to discuss. And first of all, we got to see the other side of the box, because we had some pictures that showed like it tilted to the side, and we got to see that the Ryu and Chun-Li arc continues on that side. But the other side of the box, which we didn't get to see, includes very beautiful artwork of their actual Ranger forms. Would have liked to see a Tom Whalen like take on these, but I still really like how this art turned out. It is beautiful art nonetheless, and I'm really happy that they went through the effort of making like really cool custom artwork for these figures. Now, in my video on Chun-Li on, what was that, Wednesday? Or when? Yeah, Wednesday is when that happened. I talked about how I had a couple sources pulling me a couple different directions, saying that this ended at 2 figures for the collaboration, and a couple of different sources that pulled me in the direction that said that this ended at like 4 figures in this collaboration. I didn't hear anything more than 4, but I definitely heard a couple people say more than 2. I didn't really have any proof backing that up. However, we now have 2 pieces of evidence that backs up that this is not the end of the Street Fighter figures. And I guess I also did talk about how there's other Street Fighter characters shown on the box. I talked about that in the video the other day. However, the first piece of evidence is not as like indisputable or, like concrete evidence, but that is the product numbers for Ryu and Chun-Li are not sequential. Now, sometimes Hasbro likes to jump all over the place with product numbers, but typically, like, Lightning Collection waves, like, groups of things stay together, so, like, Lightning Collection waves usually have sequential numbers, the TMNT sets had sequential numbers, but there is a number missing in between Ryu and Chun-Li, which is very interesting and implies that there's something that fills that gap. But if you needed any more evidence that more figures are coming, Loretta and Jared said it themselves, essentially. So at the very end of the little like demo and going over these figures, Loretta said very excited to finally talk about these first 2 characters, and she kind of gave like a little wink, and then Jared kind of gave a face like, ooh, what does that mean? And yeah. So more Street Fighter figures are coming, which I definitely believe the sources that told me 4. It made sense, the information that the sources that told me 4 had, and also made sense the sources that only told me 2 had, and so like those guys aren't wrong. Those sources are not wrong. I see what kind of happened here, but I'm definitely very confident in saying that we're going to get at least 4. I don't know genuinely who the other 2 are, so just keep that out, just keep that in mind that we're definitely going to be getting more of these, probably 2 more, and I imagine at this point that they would probably show it off at Hasbro PulseCon, maybe like alongside the back half of Wave 13, maybe kind of PulseCon will be sort of a sequel to Power Week, where they'll kind of elaborate on some of the stuff that they kind of only half started this week. I could see that easily being the thing, because I don't really know what else they would talk about at Power Week, because it'd be like too early for Wave 14 or anything like that. I would think, or PulseCon, I said Power Week. I think it'd be a little too early for like Wave 14 or something, but I could definitely see them kind of finishing these sets that Power Week started. But then at the very end of the stream, after they came back wearing Funko masks, and this was kind of the silliest part, quote unquote, but it was still not as cringe as like Buzz Blast and Pinatas and all that nonsense from April. But the very end of the stream, which was really interesting and fun, they ended it with the music blaring, which the sound mixing on this yesterday, oh my god. But the music was blaring, and Pam was like, well, I can't wait to talk tomorrow about the power, and then it cut her off. But now we know what it is, because it's now the next day, and well, this morning, like in the middle of the night, CMD Store in Canada leaked the photos of the Lightning Collection Power Daggers, and we got those officially revealed today. So the Lightning Collection Power Daggers are the third power weapon to be joining the Lightning Collection. They look good, kind of, except for the fact that when you turn on the yellow lights, it like lights up the entire blade, kind of like the sword. And it just kind of looks strange, and they really are leaning into that on the box for these and on all the promo shots and everything. And it wouldn't really mind me as much, you know, due to the fact you can just turn it off. But I'm kind of just sour to these in general because of the price point, which we'll get into in a second. They also can combine, which I know a lot of people were wondering why. So, and I'm also kind of wondering why. They talked about how they kind of just want to give it a little bit more of a toyetic function, you know, like, oh, the lance can do it, so let's let the daggers do it, which fine, it's harmless. And in fact, I guess there's actually someone posted on Twitter, there's like this Sentai scan that showed that the daggers like technically could have done that, even though that never happened. It never happened in Mighty Morphin, it never happened in Ranger, at least to my knowledge it never did. But it's a harmless thing. If you don't like it, just never do it. The only problem is that since you have the one that has the knob to go into the other dagger, it makes the end of that one look strange. And I talked about this in my Power Lance video, which I just realized you haven't been able to see yet because the Power Lance video is not going up until Sunday. So I guess I will talk about this in my Power Lance video, but I think if they're going to eventually build to a Power Blaster, which if we're 3/5 of the way there, I think we're going to finally do it. But basically, if they ever get to that, they're going to have to sell or include with something, or not sell, but like include with the other two weapons or something, like little knobs to like plug into the bottom of the lance and the daggers, just to complete that cannon look, because without it, you're just going to have these weird knobs and gaps for the combining functionality. It's just going to make it look really strange in the final product if they ever get around to fully committing to this, because the daggers were like the last thing that you can do at retail for a reasonable, well, no, not reasonable price, because the daggers are not a reasonable price, but the power axe and the bow would be absolutely astronomically expensive. I can't even imagine how much those would be. I have not heard anything on those happening definitively. I don't even know if Hasbro is even going to try to do it. They didn't even really hint about it on the fan, well, they did not Fanstream, but they did one of those little videos today to go over the power daggers. But I think it'd be really cool now that we have 3 of these to do this. Now, I've dodged it, the price. These are the same as the lance. How? So these are $131.99, which, oh my god, I didn't even buy the lance for that much, and I would have, because I thought $130, especially having the lance in hand, which, you know, at the time of this video, I don't, but I recorded my videos on that 2 days ago. You'll see that later. But basically, the lance are awesome. I absolutely love them, and I think that they are worth $130. The daggers are not. I was really hoping that the daggers would be under 100, and I'm definitely not going to pick them up until I can get them for under 100, hopefully. Because obviously they will go on sale, so like at least there's that to, you know, keep in mind. But like, really? $131 for these? That's absurd. These should have been like 80, 90 max. Like that should not have gone any further than that. But I don't know. I will pick them up, especially since I have the other two. I do want them. I can't justify that price for them. So it will be a while until I get them. But they do have a release date of January 31st, 2023, and they are available on all fan channel retailers, so Pulse, Dorkside, GameStop, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, all that fun stuff. Alright, so watching it back, they do actually kind of hint at the other 2 weapons coming. They say stay tuned for stuff in the upcoming months. What's up with that? Cool. So I don't know. They probably are going to try to do the other 2. Maybe they'll say something at PulseCon or something about it, but I just can't even imagine how they would be able to pull those off unless they did it like a HasLab or something. But I don't want them to have to go through that route. But I guess we'll have to stay tuned and see. Okay, and with that, I think we are finally done covering the fan stream from yesterday and the reveals for Power Week today. So, crazy stuff going on. I Like, there's so many things to do today. Today is the official kickoff of Power Morphicon. So there will not be a Lightning Storm episode tomorrow. There's really no reason for there to be. So, like, there won't be a typical Saturday episode because we've already done 4 episodes and a live stream reaction this past 5 days. So just, that's what we're gonna do. It's already difficult enough getting a video done here from the hotel room here at Morphicon because, like I said, there's just so many people that want to meet up and do things and everything, but it's been a complete blast and I love this so much. This is the only video going up on the channel today, but tomorrow will be my review of the Power Sword, and my review of the Power Lance is going up on Sunday, and then I have a Dino Fury video going up on Monday. So there are going to be videos already scheduled and they're already like ready to go that will be going up the next 3 days. So there's that. Also, if you're watching this, if you're standing in line at Morphicon, or if you're in the convention later on tonight, if you are there, tonight is the panel with me and Christopher Lawn from Lawn's Toys at 6 p.m. in panel room B here at Power Morphicon. 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be an absolute blast, moderated by my buddy Toku Chris. So I think that's it. Until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LiveRangerKey or at LightningFigPR. Pre-order links for everything that is up for pre-order right now will be in the description below. Be sure to check out my Wild Force Blue Amazon affiliate link and also my Deluxe Wave 2 Amazon affiliate links, because that gives me, or it doesn't cost you anything more to use those links, but it does help out the channel if you pre-order them using those links. And I think that's it. So I will see you all later on Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice. Bye-bye.